One of the convictions I held firmly to when I moved to the Philippines in 2014 was that a team of leaders could accomplish so much more together than independent and apart. Even through setbacks, we saw God form and grow that team from the very start. As the initial Church of City Disciples Christian Ministries and Encounter Generation merged forces, one church became two, and within another year, two churches became three. A school of ministry was birthed to mentor and raise up leaders, and an occasional children's outreach became a regional, consistent presence that met children with a good meal and the hope of Jesus. In 2 years, Jesus, the one who promised he would build his church, had done just that. We often felt like spectators watching Jesus weave a team together and blend us all together like the music of a symphony. We watched the great conductor teach us and work through us all as we played our parts. The School of Ministry celebrated 5 students at its first graduation, and now 20 have joined for the next stanza. One church with around 35 members has grown to 3 churches represented by 200 plus worshipers of the music giver. We celebrated nearly 60 baptisms over the 2 years as new members joined the chorus of worship. And an initial leadership team of around 8 has grown close to 45 servant leaders in God's harvest fields. I was to head back to the States for a bit, just a little over 2 years since I first journeyed there. Though it was not the ending, it felt like a grand finale the great conductor produced as he led us to a joint worship service we would call Encounter. 300 people from the 3 cities joined together to worship God one Sunday in September 2016, and words cannot describe the beauty of the music God wove together that day. Salvation was his song, and Jesus was exalted as people encountered the King during the hours we shared. Oh, there have been wrong notes played. We have all been reminded how imperfect we are and how prone to play out of tune or to lose step with his rhythm, but God's grace has proven greater still. The great conductor teaches us and empowers us to play more skillfully and to be more like him. His grace calls us back into tune and helps us regain the rhythm together again. We take a minute to listen and realize how powerful the arrangement is that he has put together, and a holy hush, like a rest note, causes us to stand in awe at what he has done. You have been part of the symphony. Please do not minimize your part. Each one made the music what it is. Now, as we continue to play in the Philippines, Encounter Generation will look to see a new verse written. To take the music of the gospel of the kingdom to places where many live who have never heard God's song, in lands like Myanmar and India and other parts of the 1040 window where 6,400 unreached people groups live who have never heard the gospel. 90% of the world's poorest live there. 95% of the unevangelized live there. 1.6 plus billion people have never heard the gospel once there. God cares about these people, many of whom have never heard God's song, yet they must hear, which is why we must go, because the music of the gospel is the hope of the world, and the presence of the conductor is what changes lives and families and nations. We are so grateful and honor you for your part in this. As we expand our reach into Myanmar and other parts of Asia, we ask you to join us again, like a symphony, to play skillfully together and to watch the crescendo of the kingdom of God advance to those who are hurting and hopeless and lost, that all may finally hear the song of the great conductor and sing along.